Craig Powers, Powers Firearms Training, 5 Dogs Range. It's July 7th, 2022, and my dad's birthday is in a week. He's been gone since 2014, and he started this business, so in the 70s. Some indeterminate date, I'm not sure when it became an actual business. It's kind of small. Started working with him, I know, in about 1972, 73. Going to the range, having a good time. Learned to love what I'm doing. So today I'm at the range, and this is going to come out on his birthday, but I just was remembering my dad this weekend on the 4th and thought, you know, one of the ways I do that and kind of in my heart grab a little piece of that that's gone is to do a little shooting with his guns. So we're going to go in order of the first guns I remember shooting, or the first guns I remember, and just go shoot a few rounds. And I thought I'd share that with you, and I hope you don't mind, and I hope you enjoy it. So we're going to start by getting the old eyes and ears up, because, you know, it's kind of important when you're shooting guns. So got my Impact Sports, got my gel inserts, which are not actually OSHA approved, just to say. So the first gun I have is my dad's Colt Agent. So the Agent was, this particular gun was made 1958, was given to my dad very soon after by my grandfather, his father. My dad's name, the last name engraved on the side of the gun. And the Agent is like the Cobra in that it's got an aluminum frame, but it's got a shorter grip frame on it, so that it is easier to pocket. And my dad carried this gun as a detective and court gun, if you will, because, you know, cops wear guns to court. And carried it up till shortly before he died. Now, if you'll see, there's remnants of the yellow paint that he put on here because, you know, 1960s didn't have tritium night sights, really. But what they did have is yellow model paint, and that helped him at, you know, failing light to be able to kind of get where the sights were. The Colt has a bigger groove here, typically, than the Smith & Wesson, and a bigger front sight, at least at the time when this was made, and holds 6 rounds instead of 5. The modern Colt Detective Specials, pretty awesome. They got great trigger pulls. They actually, this action is kind of fragile, and a lot of people can work on them, but the new ones are super cool, super strong, well engineered, smooth actions. So got this loaded with basic 38 specials. This is not a gun that's rated for plus P, and I generally carry wad cutters in it. So the small grip is hard to hold on to. You'll see I have a Pachmayr type grip, except this isn't made by Pachmayr. It's made by a company called T-Grips. Tyler T-Grips. It's aluminum, and when I inherited this gun, it had a Pachmayr on it that was broken here, and it would cut my finger every time I shot it. So we put a Tyler T-Grip on it, and these guns are designed to be shot double. And yeah, I got kind of a kick. It's aluminum frame. 38 specials are not necessarily fun to shoot in aluminum frame. So probably in the 60s, and I know because I shot it this way, shot it one-handed. Because that's what you did. So this is the first gun I remember shooting somewhere in the 8 or 9-year-old age. And probably my dad had to help me, but probably cocked the hammer back. So it's, so again, first gun. No. So the first gun I remember shooting was this gun. It's probably really little. Below the camera where you can see it's little. So when the gun's empty, well, you got to reload it. And some of the earliest speed loaders were speed strips. So I was still using them. And just got to practice with them so that, you know, you can kind of do it. One or two at a time. And Again, you can cock the hammer. I don't really think it makes it easier to shoot with if you're pretty skilled with it. And I don't know that I am, because I don't shoot it very much. And why don't I shoot it very much? Thanks for asking. Because it kicks a lot. I carry it on special occasions. I try to shoot at least once a year. You know, kind of keep my head in gear and think about my dad. And I'll carry it to things like my nephew, cousin, he's my nephew. I'll carry it to events such as my nephew's wedding in a couple of months, where I don't really want to carry a full-size gun, but I wish my dad was there. He would have loved to have been there, so I could take his gun, and it kind of reminds me. So, empty. Second gun. The second gun I remember shooting is this one. Now, it didn't look like this back then. I realized when I inherited this gun that the reason my dad quit shooting it because he couldn't see the sights, because they were vestigial. So I went ahead and put a set of good sights without hurting the gun. It's a Norwegian slide. It's a Remington Rand frame with various 1911 style parts and 1911 A1 parts, 1911 trigger, safety, slide stop, backstrap. Anyway, it's got ivory on it. Yes, real elephant ivory. It's all legal sights, proof ivory. Gun's super reliable. Gun's very accurate. Was originally built in the early 60s, probably by Gene's Gun Shop, if you remember them. And the gun still works really well. If you watch our new online CCW course, you'll see Becky shooting this at one point. So, really good gun. Yes, it's ivory. Yeah, I carry it. Again, mostly carry it when I'm missing my dad, but I also carry it for some, like, you know, in Texas they call this a barbecue gun. It'd be even better if it was engraved and gold inlaid and stuff, but, you know, it's a fancy gun. But it wasn't fancy, it was my dad's. So, the gun shoots really well. I mean, it's a 1911. And it's got a good trigger on it. It's about 4.5 pounds, like it should be. Using Wilson Combat magazines because I can. It's got the original early 1911 backstrap with a lanyard on it. Do I use the lanyard? No. But if I was like carrying it hiking, mountains, horseback riding, lanyard works really well. You don't lose your gun. So again, my dad's gun, first one I remember shooting was the revolver. Same trip I remember shooting this. By trip, I mean we went down Plans Road to Gosford, which was just fields, and we shot into a canal bank. I remember that. It's a canal bank. So the gun works really well. Bog standard 1911 parts gun, Remington, Norwegian, military spec barrel, mil spec parts, Wilson Combat magazines, dad's gun. Still shoots great. Oh, by the way, replaced all the springs, because I'm not going to shoot a gun that means something to me without taking care of it. Good ammo, new springs, so we don't batter the gun. A gun that I always saw around the house but never got to shoot until I was older is this one. It's a 1917 Smith & Wesson, made in 1918. It's mil spec. See the U.S. Army stuff in it. And grips aren't. These are Stag. Why? Because the ones that were on it were just gone, and I didn't want to ruin them by shooting it. And I put a Tyler T grip on it. And Gene's Gun Shop in the 60s. Shorten the barrel. Now, one of the problems with this gun, you'll see why my dad quit carrying it, is you can't hardly use the rear sight because it's too narrow. And it's got a big fat front sight. Why? Because it's too hard to see the natural one. But besides that, the barrel used to be 5.5 inches. And my dad had it shortened by Gene in the 60s, early 60s, to carry as a detective's gun, as an undercover gun. Uses now a full moon clip. Today it used a half moon clip. And since you're not really behind the camera, so nobody behind the camera, I want to show you why he liked to carry it. So, can you see the bullets on the inside of the cylinder? Well, he used to carry it with semi-wad cutter bullets that were really long so that you could see them at the end of the cylinder. And his thing was that when you pointed a gun at somebody like that, that they kind of had him a come to Jesus moment rather than meet Jesus, because they were fixing to, or he wouldn't have been pointing a gun at him. So it was quite of a persuader. The gun kicks a lot. Use only standard velocity, good quality 45 ACP in it. And it's just a good nostalgic gun. So, you can shoot it double action or single action. With just like a lot of these, my finger has to wrap underneath. This doesn't really fit on the bottom, but that's cool. And, we could aim at the target, and at the target, and the target, and just hit each one with a 45 caliber bullet, and then the metal, and then the sticker, and then the sticker, and then we're empty. Now how do we reload it? We roll it open, kick it out, reach into your pocket or a pouch, get another box, or another box. Reach into your pocket or your pouch and get another clip. Reach into your pocket or your pouch and get another clip, because it's a clip, it holds the bullets together. Drive it in the gun, close it, and then these are gold dot. And who doesn't like a good gold dot bullet? And just because we can, one more. 1917 revolver. It's had a lot of issues. I've rebuilt it a couple of times trying to get all the issues fixed. But I have carried it for self-defense. Works inside of a regular end-frame holster. It's more nostalgia, and I wanted it to look cool, so again, the older stocks were, anyway, put the stag on it. The last gun is my dad's Browning high power. Now, I was probably 12, 13 when he got this. Well, actually I was 13 by the year. And it used to have a pair of Pachmayr stocks on it, grips. And it had vestigial sights, because that's what Browning high powers came with. And it had a vestigial safety. Gun's an officer's type gun, so they weren't expected to actually fight, I think, probably, in most European militaries, designed in Belgium, and FN made it. And they had little sights. If you look at the English guns, some of them have much better sights. The ones made in Canada, especially, some of them had tangent sights. And Browning now makes the gun again. It's much changed. Springfield Armory makes it. You just can't get them in California because California. But this is an old high power. And I just sent it off to Novak sights and had the front and rear sights done. The front one is a tritium sight, so you can use it. And the safety is a cylinder and slide safety, so it's easy to put on and off, but not so big it snags on anything. Nice and low profile. So this gun's a delight to shoot, but like a lot of the early high powers, it pinches my hand. So I have scars here, I don't know if you can see them, from shooting Browning high powers. Does it stop me from shooting them? No, I like them. So just loading it, safeties. The Browning high power is noted for how good it feels in the hand. It's very ergonomic. You bring the gun out. The magazine safety, it's got a magazine safety, which means it won't fire unless there's a magazine in it, in this configuration. is, yeah, free band. I got it. Makes the trigger pull a little hard. Most of them have kind of rough trigger pulls, but this one's been shot enough that it's nice and smooth. And Dad carried it a lot, and it's a good gun. And yeah, this one works even with a 20-ish round magazine. So running high power. Oh, and it's got a set of real thin stocks on it. They're made out of mahogany, which means that they've kind of absorbed a lot of the sweat, which is kind of cool. Gives character to the gun. Anyway, it's one of the guns that I remember shooting the most as I got to be older, and so I'd share it with you. So 4 guns. They were my dad's. Birthday, July 14, 1936, and he's been gone 8 years this November, and I miss him, and I wish, you know, the last few years that he was alive, it was better. He was having a lot of problems. So I guess I could leave you with, tell your folks you love them, tell your mom, tell your dad. My dad and I worked out any problems we had between the two of us before he died. We talked about it. He left, he went out with his 2 sons holding his hands and praying for him. So I don't know how you do it better than that. But, you know, I do miss him, and I wish he was here, and he founded this business, and I wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for him. So thanks for joining me. It's been a great day so far. Weather's nice. Come out to the range. Tell your folks you love them. I wish you victory, and I wish you peace.